where does this leave Brooklyn, especially Kevin Durant? So Woj, he's going to be with us shortly on that front. And then of all the teams who are interested in Kyrie, perhaps none was more intriguing than the Los Angeles Lakers, but that didn't happen. So what does LeBron think about that? Well, moments ago, he sat down exclusively with our Michael Wilbon.
Well, definitely disappointed. I can't sit here and say I'm not disappointed on not being able to land such a talent, but someone that I had great chemistry with and know I got great chemistry with on the floor that can help you win, championships in my mind, in my eyes. But my focus has shifted now. My focus has shifted back to where it should be, and that's this club now and what we have in the locker room.
That's a quick pivot, LeBron.
It's a quick pivot. It don't take me long. It don't take me long. I don't get too excited about the possibilities of things that can be. I kind of envision myself on what it can, but I don't invest it all the way until I know it's happening. Okay. And when it does not happen, I'm back locked in on the job at hand. So, we had an opportunity. I think our names was out there. The Lakers' name was out there. We had an opportunity. Didn't happen. We move on, and we finish the season strong. Try to get a bid into the postseason, where I feel if we go in healthy, we compete with anybody.
Disappointed, which I think is fair. Brian Windhorst, Zach Lowe, Kendrick Perkins is going to be joining us. Brian, you and I were sitting in the control room listening to this interview as it came in. You've covered LeBron James for years, and it was interesting to sort of watch what made your ears perk up. What stood out to you?
We should play I Love L.A. from Randy Newman over this interview, because he is absolutely just keeps giving the Lakers more and more respect, more and more slack. He signs the contract extension before this year to remove all pressure. Mm-hmm. Even last year, after they didn't do anything at the trade deadline and it upset him, he still signed that contract extension. And here we are. Whatever that tweet meant yesterday, and he tried to explain it to Michael, and I didn't quite understand the explanation. We'll see that later. But he just likes being here in L.A., and he keeps giving the Lakers trust. And I will say this. There are 4 days left.
Yeah.
It's 4 days between now and Friday, or now and Thursday, and the Lakers didn't get this deal done. They should really try to get something done, because at some point, I got to believe that patience is going to end. But he has never given this kind of slack to Miami. He's never given this kind of slack to Cleveland either time. But the Lakers, they get the slack.
I'll tell you what stood out to me. I hadn't seen it yet. Is when he was talking about Kyrie adding to the championship foundation. He said, "At least I think." And I thought the implication of that was maybe some other people in my organization don't think, but that's my opinion, and I want you all to know that's my opinion. And I agree with Brian. I think if LeBron had his druthers, he'd finish his career a Laker. He'd finish his career in Los Angeles. I don't think he wants to leave. But between this and some of his recent comments he made about I don't want my career to end with this level of losing about 6 weeks ago, if you remember that. Yeah. I do think there is going to be the patience is not infinite, I don't think. And the Lakers are on some kind of clock, because the guy's going to want a shot to win a championship, and right now he doesn't have one.
Woj, when we spoke yesterday during the game broadcast, you reported that the Nets, they essentially got back what they wanted, right? Which was players that they could put around Kevin Durant. So where does this stand with Kevin Durant now?
Well, Malika, the Nets are proceeding now as though, Kevin Durant will be back in the lineup, whether that's prior to the All-Star break or just after the All-Star break, based on the expectations coming back from that MCL sprain. And they're canvassing the market now, like a lot of contenders or would-be contenders, to see what deals they can make. This is a very difficult trade market for teams like Brooklyn and Philadelphia, the Clippers, teams who want to improve themselves, Milwaukee, because there's just so few sellers out there. I think a lot of the focus of the league right now is on Toronto to see who, if really any of those key players in Toronto are going to be really available. I think Toronto is talking on a number of players, but I think they're gauging what the market is. And listen, Masai Ujiri does not easily go off of guys he's drafted, developed, had a measure of success with. And so I think a lot of the marketplace wants to see how that shakes out with the Raptors. And I think they may very well take that deeper into this week. But Brooklyn, Listen, their goal is to try to continue to build around Kevin Durant, to win with him here in the short term, and to keep him tethered to this organization. You know, they've got 3 first-round picks, one they picked up yesterday, you know, that they could also use in trades. But again, to bring back impact players right now in this marketplace, I think it's unclear whether the Nets have enough to do that, especially given the competition and how many other teams out there are trying to do exactly the same thing.
Yeah, certainly all eyes on Toronto as we march toward that trade deadline on Thursday. Woj, thank you so much. Your reaction to this trade?
What's going to happen to KD, Kevin Durant?
Right.
I mean, this. I don't think any of the trades that were available were going to be a win for the Nets.
Right.
I think at this point you want to collect assets and picks. I think that's what the Nets are doing, because if KD does say he wants to trade and wants out, you got to have picks ready.
Right. And we're talking about a big 3. And by the way, the big 3 I'm talking about is James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. That then was a big 3 with Ben. We're whittled down to essentially a big 1, considering what Ben Simmons has been able to give the Nets, at least thus far. Not writing him off. I know Kendrick Perkins, you're ready to join the conversation here. I mean, I want to put it bluntly. If you're Kevin Durant, you played with him, you know him well, do you want to be in Brooklyn anymore?
Hell no. I want to be out on the first thing smoking. Matter of fact, I'm talking to Sean Marks, and I got Rich Kleiman on the line right now to get me out. Look, Kevin Durant has put up with enough, okay? He put up the last 3 years having to deal with the drama of the Kyrie Irving and everything he was going through, not being available for his own personal reasons. And Kevin Durant has been reliable. He's been there for the Brooklyn Nets. He's been available. He's been hooping at an MVP level. He's been more than enough and has delivered past expectations, in my opinion, on an individual status. If I'm KD, why would I want to sit in Brooklyn and have to depend on another liability in Ben Simmons? Just think about that for a second. Kyrie is gone. That was drama. Now I got to worry about Ben Simmons, if he's going to be available. Is his confidence going to be there? Or does he have love for the game of basketball? Like, KD don't need that at this point of his career. Kevin Durant, at this point of his career, not only just want to play basketball at an elite level, but at least be in an organization and on a team that's at least going to compete for a title that he could rely on, that's going to be available, that he could trust night in and night out.
But wanting out and demanding a trade, those are two different things, right? We already saw Kevin Durant request a trade over the summer that didn't go anywhere. Should he request another one?
Absolutely. Before the draft, go to Sean Marks, say, hey, listen, you guys can't.
For the draft. So we're not talking in the next couple of days. We're talking about
it's going to be hard to make that happen.
Right.
I think what KD's going to do is, you know, they had the meeting with him in the summertime, and Sean Marks and the ownership came and spoke to him, and he sat back and said, okay, let's see what you guys do. You saw the frustration when they played against Sacramento with Steve Nash. They got him out of there.
Yeah.
So now it comes to a point where it's like, listen, I sat back, kept my mouth shut to see what you guys are going to bring me, and this is what you guys give me? I can't win a championship like this.
So we're 4 days away from the trade deadline. Realistically, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so the Nets, I'm always going to judge the Nets on their actions, not their words. Their actions have been that they are looking to put more pieces around Durant. They have taken the assets that they have gotten in this deal. They have taken some of the assets that they have gotten from James Harden, and they are going out in the marketplace, as Woj said, looking to bring in players that fit next to Durant. So the Nets are operating like they believe Kevin Durant is going to be bought in and ready to go, just as Woj said. But, Malika, today is Monday. Today is not Thursday. So let's just not make any assumptions between now and Thursday afternoon.
So how would you assess, if you were looking overall, you've been known to call the Nets the greatest theoretical team in NBA history.
Yeah, hang a banner for that.
And that's just it? I mean, that's how we're assessing them
Well,
now?
look, I mean, it's cool that they're trying to rebuild, retool around KD. That's what they should do. He's under contract, and he's maybe still the best player in the entire NBA. And it's cool that they did pretty well yesterday in a trade that they made under duress. The problem with that is the under duress part. And if you just zoom out of what's happened here to the Brooklyn Nets, it's like a catastrophe. They traded all their picks and all their best young players, including Jared Allen, the guy who made the All-Star team last year, for James Harden. That's one slot. They turned James Harden into Ben Simmons and a couple of picks. The picks matter. Ben Simmons right now is pretty close to a zero in terms of trade value and what he's bringing you on the court. Now they've traded Kyrie Irving for some good players and a pick, that's all good, but just the totality of the talent drain that has happened in Brooklyn is almost astonishing when you sit back and look at it. And they're going to fight the good fight with Kevin Durant, and they should. And can you imagine being Kevin Durant, who signed that extension at the first moment possible, thinking the other two guys were, and you were like, whoa, nobody, pens don't work? You guys didn't do this?
Yeah.
And then the vaccination thing and all this, and we'll see where it ends. I've been saying since last season, it just feels like since the first trade request he made in the spring, this summer, it just feels it's just hard to see him playing out the contract in Brooklyn.
Perk, last word on this.
So, like, what other players out there that the Brooklyn Nets could actually go trade for that could replace a Kyrie Irving or a James Harden that they lost to the Philadelphia 76ers in the Ben Simmons trade? Like, again, like the Brooklyn Nets with a Kevin Durant, like, it's championship or bust. Every single season that you have Kevin Durant, it's championship or bust, especially where he's at in his career. What other player can you go get at this point that's going to make Kevin Durant happy? He just lost one of the most skilled players of all time in a trade yesterday in Kyrie Irving. Like, if I'm KD, this is the point where he has to put his foot down, and no one in the world should be mad at him. Not the Brooklyn Nets organization, not the Brooklyn Nets fan base, because, again, he has delivered for his individual play. The others haven't stepped up. If I'm KD again, I can't sit through this. I can't wait till the summertime. He has to put his foot down now.
Well, I mean, to answer your first question about who can they go out and get, that's why Woj is saying all eyes are on Toronto. I'm not sure that when you're looking at you're not equating talent for talent here, but you are looking at that team as one that, all right, are they going to be sellers, particularly when they finish this trip and take a look back and say, all right, we're at Thursday. What does this team want to be? But the thing about this Kyrie trade is there's just so many layers to the onion. So we peel back the fact that he's actually on his way to Dallas. We peel back that he is not on his way to the Los Angeles Lakers. And then what is going to happen with the Brooklyn Nets?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.